Of course, my mic was muted as soon as I started. Howdy, folks. I am here. Let me see if I can get that right. There we go. And yeah, let me explain what I was talking about the rewatching. I may have mentioned it beforehand, but my mother. And how you doing, Gap? My mother was in the military. She was a court reporter for the JAG office. So when JAG became a TV show, she watched it. And she would always laugh about what they got right, what they got wrong, all that kind of stuff. And LDG is in, but you can add yourself to the stage.
Oh, whoop, wrong one.
How you doing?
Hello. Hey.
Hey. So, of course, she also liked the spin-off series NCIS. And that was a show, NCIS, she and I used to watch that one together. Well, after she passed, I stopped watching it. Not necessarily because I suddenly hated the show or anything. More of life got in the way. And when I saw the whole new Tony and Ziva relaunch series, or sequel series, or whatever we were calling it last time, when we were arguing about it on the stream, I wanted to watch that, but I also realized there's like over 10 seasons of NCIS I've missed in the interim. So I went back and I started watching NCIS. I've been binge watching it essentially for 2 weeks now, since I didn't do the last week's stream. I stopped at the end of season 4 so I could do a Stranger Things rewatch, because I want to watch that and talk about it with my youngest daughter, because she's a huge Stranger Things fan. And I kind of didn't realize how bad NCIS was when it started. Have you ever watched it, LGG? Do you like those type of police?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
All right, so okay, my biggest problem is with Mark Harmon's character of Gibbs, because even back then, the type of person he is and mentor he is would not fly in any sort of police department or any, especially the military. He is consistently violent with his subordinates. And by that, I mean, one of his things he does is he smacks them upside the head when they do something he doesn't like. And you cannot get away with that nowadays. Even in the 90s when this show started, or early 2000s when this show started, you can't really get away with that. He is, and they make comments about this, how he's, almost blatantly misogynistic in certain ways. I mean, he and Ducky even have a conversation where Ducky says, we're a dying breed of misogynists. Not where we actively hate women or anything like that, but misogynist in a way where we always try to protect women, regardless of their position or anything like that. And they always portray it as a good thing on the show when the main characters do it, and as a bad thing when almost every other character does it. It's kind of interesting. One of the other aspects was they put a really big emphasis on his gut, his gut feelings. And there was a point in one of the episodes where Gibbs tells Abby, the forensic scientist for the team, I know what my gut says. I need you to find me the evidence. And that line really bugged me because it's not, you don't fit the evidence to go with your gut. You follow the evidence because that's where, those are the facts. And it just bugs me because every time his gut tells him something, he's always right. And apparently the Crows are back at it, trying to put in their 2 cents when it comes to NCIS. And yeah, it's just kind of an interesting dynamic on the show. And it's surprising how long he was on the show, because I did some research afterwards, and he apparently did like 16 seasons or so of the show out of 20 some odd. Are you there? You're the only one I can talk to, LDG.
I'm sorry. What were you saying? I'm waiting. Where's everybody else? What's going on? What are you talking about? I'll take a break. What show?
Well, I was talking about NCIS, so you're the only one on, so the only one I can bounce off of.
Yeah, I've only watched a couple episodes. I mean, I guess for a quick minute, I like that one skinny girl that wore like the black and white and the pigtails.
Oh, everybody had a crush on Abby. I mean, the goth forensic scientist, yeah.
Yeah, she was cute for a hot minute, but I mean, the show to me didn't keep my attention too much. I was never a fan of those, and especially when they got like pretty crazy with like the MacGyver crap, right? You can't really make a rocket with a pen and elastic band and bubble gum, but they just got really crazy with some of their things that they did. It wasn't just for me, but I mean, it got like 20 seasons or something.
Yeah, it's still going on as far as I know. I think it's 20.
Well,
I want to
say
like
the main one, and then you had all the spin-offs.
Yeah,
you had NCIS Alphabet and all that.
All right, so 23 seasons, still going strong. It hasn't ended yet. Spin-offs. Let me check, because I know there's NCIS Los Angeles, NCIS New Orleans.
Sorry, I got a phone call. I got to mute. Crap. Give me a second.
So related shows are NCIS Los Angeles, NCIS New Orleans, NCIS Hawaii, NCIS Sydney, NCIS Origins, which is a prequel show apparently, and then of course the sequel show that we argued about what the definition was, NCIS Tony and Ziva. So yeah, there is quite a few spin-offs for it. I haven't even heard of Sydney. I'm going to look that one up real quick, because 3 seasons. It's currently on Paramount Plus. NCIS Origins, which again, it's a Jethro Gibbs. That's the main character of the original show. Prequel. Is that one still going on? Yes, that one's still going on. It has 2 seasons by itself. Hawaii.
All right, I'm back. You still naming them all?
Kind of, yeah. Because, 2 of the spinoffs are still going on. NCIS Hawaii only lasted 2 seasons. It ended last year. New Orleans is ended in 2001, and it lasted 7 seasons. Los Angeles ended 2 years ago in 2023, and it lasted, looks like 11 seasons, 12 seasons, 14. I was wrong. I was going by the number of episodes. So, but the primary show is still going on strong. And yeah, okay. So here's the thing. One of the other shows my mom and I watched was CSI. Or CSI Las Vegas, if you want to go by how it's usually done, because even though it was the first show, I think they renamed it later on because all the other CSI shows. And here's the thing. The big difference I can tell between the two shows is CSI was all about the forensics. One of the big things that their group leader was always espousing was, we follow the evidence. And there are lots of times in that show, in CSI, where the evidence would lead them one direction, and they would start, the investigator part, the detective would try to follow in that direction, but then the evidence would shift. And then you're going in a new direction. Whereas in CSI, it's more of Gibbs has his idea of going in this direction. The evidence keeps pointing in all these other directions, but because his gut is what's important, not what the evidence is, he keeps pushing that one direction, but it always turns out, oh yeah, he was still right.
Yeah.
In CSI, they were almost always wrong until the evidence came together at the end. And I don't like the fact that you have a character who is never wrong. The way he might go about it is wrong from a moral standpoint, but his determination is always correct.
Right? That sounds like so this is a conversation for the previous stream, because that sounds like the current president we have.
Well, it might not be exactly 1-to-1, but
It's damn close.
And it's like, even when he's wrong, he's always right, which is
Exactly
what bugs me.
That sounds like what you just said about CSI.
Well, I was saying that about NCIS. The other thing is, almost every episode basically has at least one of the main characters falling in love with the criminal. And it's an overused trope. Gibbs falls in love. I mean, he'll be willing to flirt with the person, even though he believes that they committed the fucking crime.
Mm-hmm.
Often enough, it's the female or the male, Denozo, or what was her name, Kate, in the first couple of seasons, Ziva in the rest of the show. Almost every person, you can tell who did it by who one of the main characters falls in love with that episode.
Falls in love with.
Because it's every single time, whether it's the McGee character, the Abby character, the Gibbs character, Denozo, whoever they're flirting with tends to be the fucking one who did it. Every fucking episode. And it really got tiring, because there was one episode I remember where the lead up is a military officer is eaten by a bear.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how NCIS gets involved. Because if you don't know the premise, NCIS only gets involved when it's a military person, usually a naval or marine, is killed or commits suicide. And anytime, one of their rules is all suicides are investigated as homicides. So that's how they get involved all the time. But a spoiler for an episode that's over 20 years old. Literally, the person who is the bad guy for that episode is a store convenience clerk. He's the one that killed a bunch of people, including this naval officer. In fact, he's killed a bunch of people. And they try to, right at the beginning, one of the how you doing, Chris? One of the freaking the Ziba character starts flirting with the goddamn convenience clerk and gets a date with him, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm I got the date, blah, 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 blah. So, I'm like right away, oh, he's the bad guy. Now I'm just waiting to find out how they catch him.
What now?
I was
What are
talking
you
about
talking
one of
about?
the tropes overused on NCIS for the first 4 seasons is
Oh, yeah.
every single time one of the characters falls in love with someone new for that episode, that's the person who committed the crime.
Oh, yeah.
Every single time.
There we go.
And it's regardless of, who. Whether it's the Denozo character, the female Kate or Ziva character, McGee, even Gibbs himself. Gibbs himself frequently falls in love with a character, and he's like, oh, I think she still committed the crime, but I still want to bang her, essentially. He doesn't always do it, but still.
I think that it worked with Gibbs more often than not because he I think it was to try to show that his moral tendencies were gray, and that he, again, one of the hardest things to do with the good guy or the main good guy of any show is to be able to show that they're an everyman, that they're not godly, that they mess up. For instance, I think we talked about it with Alex Cross and some of the other shows out there that are out there,
or the one I was talking about before.
Reacher's another one. Yeah, that there's just nothing that the guy can do wrong.
Yeah,
Punisher, for instance, though, was great because he's not a good guy, but he's doing things ultimately that are good, but in the wrong way. So those are things that are really hard for a show to do. And I think with Gibbs, there's enough moral ambiguity to it that it works. But yeah, the other characters it never made sense for. I mean, for instance, one of my favorite movies that does a great job of basically subverting that, and it's like almost a triple change, is Falling Down with Michael Douglas. He's this guy, you're sympathetic for him right from the start because he's stuck in traffic. Everybody's been stuck in traffic. We all know that. And then he goes and he tries to buy a Coke and he wants to spend 50 cents so he can call his little girl. And they get you all the way up to a point. And then you start seeing that he's willing to kill people and he's willing to shoot people and all this. And by that time, you're on board with him. And it's too late. You are that guy. And that's the thing. It's like, so those things are great if you can do it right. And that's why I've always said the fact that Joel Schumacher made that movie and he also made Batman and Robin. I'm like, I don't know how the fuck that's even possible that the same guy did the same movie. It's like, I mean, Batman and Robin is literally an unforgivable sin, in my opinion.
Well,
but anyways, my point is that it's difficult, and you still need to do that with your main character, is to show that they're not perfect.
The problem is the ways they try to show that he's not perfect exemplify his quote-unquote manliness, and I say the manliness as that social construct of the male gender, how he's of the age where he doesn't understand technology or he doesn't like technology. He likes simple things. He likes to make his boats with old-fashioned
He likes to build
tools.
Boats and basements.
And how you doing, babe? Mrs. Vile's in the chat.
Hello. Hello.
But you also wouldn't expect, a man's man who likes to work with his hands to be good with technology.
He is a very antiquated, old version of a man.
And then you take like the McGee character, who is great with technology, but he's always portrayed as the lesser man of the group. And one of the reasons, he's always derided as the geek. McGeek is one of his nicknames.
Yeah. Well, they did that with, I forget his name, the new ME, the guy that took over for Ducky. They did that with him. They made him this geeky, awkward kid. And then they did a brilliant episode, which is the episode that him and whatever I forget characters right now. The girl that he dated for a while, then she left, and then they brought her back, which I still think they'll end up back together at some point, but whatever. They did an episode where they were trying to transport the heart or liver or something like that, and they get like black, underground black market group tries to stop them to steal it, and that's why they were doing it, is that they wanted to catch these guys, and they end up having to go into the woods, and he gets shot. It actually really showed that he was able to do things, and that's always the funny thing, is he wants to be in the field, but he isn't really suited for the field. But they did a really good job of showing that when push came to shove, he was able to do some stuff that nobody thought he would do. They've done that a few times with McGee, but the problem is that every time they let his character grow, they've reverted him back. And
that's one of the things I noticed about him specifically. They did try.
I think now. Go ahead.
Now remember, my rewatch is only up to season 4, and I've only watched up to season when my mom was alive. Because if you didn't hear me before, the whole reason I'm doing this is my mom and I used to watch NCIS together, but when she passed, I kind of stopped watching it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that she would want to watch, because she really liked the Tony and Ziva storyline.
Yeah,
so I know she
that's
would
a new show. I want to watch that.
Yeah, that's why I'm rewatching it, is just so I can watch the new Tony and Ziva one. I don't give a crap about any other spinoff.
I think you can go up. I forget whichever season they kind of walked away from, which I think was 10 or 11. After that, it's supposed to pick up kind of after that. So even though it's later, like it's come out later, I think it's supposed to take over pretty much right after they've left the show. So you might be able to kind of integrate the last few seasons with that.
So, but I'm going to continue to rewatch. I'll probably watch right at this point a season of NCIS and a season of Stranger Things for the next couple of weeks. The other rewatch I did was season 1 of Stranger Things, but I'm going to keep talking about NCIS right now. But again, I'm watching it because of my mom, and yeah, Mrs. Vile said that she used to watch it as well. But I can't help but compare it all the time to my other show that we watch together, which is CSI.
Yeah, it's the same show. The difference is that one is a federal group and the other is city.
Yeah.
I mean, so they are very closely similar, but the difference is that, of course, NCIS only handles military attached or military adjacent. So a child of a military officer goes, or not even a military officer, it could be a private for that matter. A child of any military member goes missing, that's NCIS. A cousin of a military member is CSI. So that's the difference. And a lot of people in the real world.
One of the things I also pointed out earlier was in NCIS, they follow the main character, and I say the main character as Gibbs, primarily, his gut, and they have the evidence follow it later. Whereas in CSI, they follow the evidence first.
Yeah, and I mean, again, that's to show the moral ambiguity of Gibbs, to show that he gets these inklings, but he has enough of a wherewithal to say, okay, I think this is it. But in the early episodes, of course, Abby, give me the definites, give me that proof I need to prove I'm right.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that bugs me so much is, like, one of the episodes that I said this earlier before you joined. At one point, he says, he basically says, I know I'm right. Find me the evidence that shows that I'm right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, that is not how it should go. It should be, you follow the evidence, not your guts. Don't get a tunnel vision. And
the words. The words he uses, yes, that is not correct. You don't say, I know I am right. This person's guilty. Go and find me that evidence that proves they're guilty. You do not say that. But enough people in an investigative field will say to themselves or say to their team, I know I'm right. Let's prove it. That's the way you say it. Let's find the evidence so I am proven right, not prove me right. It's let's find it. And I mean, there's plenty of people out there that do hunches, that believe that they're on the right way. Again, husband's always brought in first as the main suspect when a wife dies. You know, there are certain rules in investigative things, but the idea is that you still need to prove it's right, and at the same time, you also want to prove it's wrong. Finding your suspect and proving they're guilty isn't really what investigative work is about. It's trying to prove they're innocent and not being able to. And I heard that once from an investigator. I was like, that's an interesting way to think about it. You're not trying to prove that the guy you think did it. You're trying to prove he didn't. You're trying to be open-ended and say, okay, well, let's find who did this. We think this guy did it, but let's prove he didn't. That's a better way of saying something. Because when you can't prove he didn't do it, then by all intents and purposes, he did it. I mean, so that would be the right way to take it. But I mean, again, that is to show that he's unwilling to change, that he may be wrong. And there are a few times in the series that he ends up being wrong. And, you know,
the instances where he's wrong are very few and far between. And that's part of the problem, I think.
Yeah, but that's just the writing. It's designed that way.
But one of the things that frequently happens, to the point where you could make a drinking game out of it, is he'll interview a subject, and within that conversation, his gut will tell him whether they're innocent or guilty. And then as soon as the interview's over, he'll get a call from Abby at Forensics or McGee or the coroner or somebody saying, oh, so-and-so didn't do it. And he'd be like, I know. And he knows because he talked to the person for 5 minutes or a 2-minute scene.
Well, and again, it's not fair to a show that you're only going to, it's only an hour long, that you're really going to see a full investigative or interrogation. It's like, I don't know of any interrogation that would have to be federally done ever taking less than 2 to 3 hours.
Oh, yeah.
That's whether or not they come to your house, they bring you in. The minimal amounts of times I've actually been behind the glass watching one done, I think the shortest one I ever saw was 2.5 hours. And, that guy.
One of the things, sorry, but one of the things my mom always laughed about was the fact that the team that Gibbs has, which is supposed to be the preeminent team in their area on the East Coast, only has 5 members.
Yeah, well, again,
because when she worked at Leavenworth, she was like, the team that she was a part of, and we're including the entire JAG office, and that included NCIS or NIS at the time when she was in.
She worked at Leavenworth?
She worked at Leavenworth.
Oh, cool. Not too far from me. Hey.
And a standard NCIS team that she worked with was about 30 people on the smallest side.
Yeah. Hey, I'll be back, okay? I got to go in here and check something out real quick. I'll be right back.
No worries. So, now, again, my rewatch was only up to season 4. And I will give some credit for the later, at least seasons 3 and 4 primarily, because 1 and 2 was like they're finding their stride. It's like a Star Trek show. They don't really seem to find their stride until season 3. And yeah, a lot of aspects about the main characters are not codified until the later seasons. Like in a lot of the earlier episodes, Gibbs, the main character, At one point, he's not even mentioned to be in the former military. He works for NCIS, but they don't really say if he was in the military or not. And in fact, it's really strange when he has stuff explained to him that when you later on realize that he is a former Marine sniper, that why are they explaining to him how a sniper rifle works in season 1? And I get they hadn't established that he was a Marine sniper yet. But in one of the early episodes, they're talking about a shot someone makes, and he's like, how do you make a shot from that distance? And it's like, really? You're a sniper. You should know exactly how he makes that shot. And you also know that shot is not particularly that incredible because it's like 100 meters or something like that. And later on, he's describing in like a season 3 episode, a sniper that makes a shot over a kilometer away. And it's like, oh, he knows exactly what type of weapon it was, the skill level needed. And it's like, shouldn't you have known that back in season 1? And then it's established somewhere in season 3, I believe, that he was a gunnery sergeant. So everyone calls him Gunny. But for those first few seasons, no one ever refers to him by his old rank. And it's kind of interesting to watch that, how it works. Because it's like he's having stuff explained to him about how the Marines function in season 1. And how does he not know that? Why is he asking that question if he knew the answer? Or if it's something he should have been completely aware of as a gunnery sergeant? So, and I might be getting his rank wrong, but as I said, they keep calling him Gunny in the later season, or at least as of season 4. What else? I don't know. Sir, what else? Oh God, I think I've complained about everything I was complaining about.
To complain about what? You know what I can complain about?
Is it related to
Was
NCIS or anything else, or what?
It's related to something for the show.
All right, go ahead.
It was well, thank you. Remember, I don't know if I told you. I think I told you that I'm watching the Tulsa King.
Okay.
And they went on a small hiatus for the last 3 episodes, I think, 8, 9, and 10. So I'm all caught up. Season 3, loving it. It's great. Freaking episodes drop, and then same old trope. Bad guy locks himself up in his house with his army of people with guns, and a very smaller army of people with guns go in with loud rock music and explosions and just clear out the house and kill the bad guy. Very disappointed. Very, very disappointed. I did like the fact that small spoiler, Samuel L. Jackson came in, and that was pretty cool.
And Tulsa King is the one with Sylvester Stallone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not one that I've watched.
After getting out of jail for he got hit for a job he didn't do, or they think they murdered him or whatever, but it gave him manslaughter. He did 25 years, came out, and his entire mafia kind of fucked him over, and he's pissed off and went to Tulsa, took that place over. It's got that one guy from you remember that show's what was it called? Silicon Valley, I believe.
All right.
Did you watch Silicon Valley?
No, I didn't.
All right. Well, there's an actor in there that's really funny, and he's in this. And I was like, he's the only other actor I know. Him and Sylvester. Well, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I just didn't like the ending. I was good up till season 3, and I'm like, oh crap, dude, what the hell? They dropped the ball on that ending.
So is that the end of the show, or is that just the end of season 3?
Well, that's well, you can say that about anything today. Who knows? Like things get canceled mid-season for God's sakes. I hope they're gonna make another one, and I hope it's better. Just like I'm hoping The Boys is gonna be much better than the last season because that was garbage. Though watching Gen V, there is some hope.
Well, I
Last
haven't
season of
seen
Gen V
Gen
was
V
pretty good.
yet. And it's not because, well, it's primarily because there's so many other things I'm doing a watch on or a rewatch on to get around to it. But let's see. Are you talking? Let's see. The actors for Tulsa King are, and I'm just at Wikipedia. Martin Starr, is that who you're talking about? Jay Will, Max Casella, Dominic Lombardozzi.
Guy with the
Which one are
beard.
you talking about?
He looks like he's a beard, white, brown hair, long face.
Let's see. Okay, it's that you're talking about Martin Starr. He was in Silicon Valley.
Yes.
He was also in the Spider-Man Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home as the teacher.
Yeah, I believe so too. Yeah.
So, all right. So I know I can now put a face to what you're talking about.
But I mean, yeah, I mean he's in Tulsa King, he's a Bitcoin miner
Oh, God.
extraordinaire, but he also owns a pot dispensary, which totally fits him.
Oh, and I know one thing that I can talk about that is become an infamous scene within the computing world. It was either season 1 or season 2 of NCIS, where a character is trying to hack into some other thing, like a server or whatnot, and says, "I'm going as fast as I can with 2 hands." So the forensic tech, Abby, joins him on the keyboard, and they both start typing on the keyboard to hack faster.
Yeah.
Because I think you'll agree with me, LDG, you know, having 2 people working the same keyboard makes things go faster, right?
Oh yeah, no, of course. That's an old school trick right there. Not a lot of people know that.
It goes to show how the writers really wanted to include certain things, but they weren't knowledgeable about it until later on. And I don't know what type of consultants they had, but it was like, if you're going to try to do something, it's not cool. It reminds me of the movie Hackers. I love the movie Hackers, but the way they portray everything is so wrong.
Yeah. Don't get me started on that movie.
But I mean, I love that
Matrix
movie.
4, though.
Sorry?
Still better than Matrix 4.
I don't know. I liked Matrix 4. I know you didn't.
Screw you. Screw you, dude.
But I like Matrix 4 because of the meta-analysis. I mean,
the only best part of Matrix 4 was the Merovingian. When he was
I think the analyst was the best part of 4. Neil Patrick Harris's character.
No, he doesn't get to do that. And I'm sorry. He came in there thinking he knew the Matrix, and then his key was that, oh, you can stop time, you can slow down time. Well, guess what? I can slow down time too, better than you. Come on, man. Really? Really?
Well, yeah, because he programmed it to do that. But it's a meta-analysis of, oh, you got main character syndrome? Well, I'm going to give myself main character aspects.
Okay, first of all, so let's break it down, right? You really want to do this right now? I'll break this shit down right now, okay? You better open your windows, okay, and release the pressure, because
at least for the next 20 minutes, we'll go ahead and give this a shot. Because after that, I'm going to talk about Stranger Things.
Okay, so
go ahead.
This Neil Patrick Harris character, fucking idiot that shouldn't even been in the movie, right? So he has this power I can slow down faster than you. Like, it was a revelation, right? Like, it was like nobody thought of it, right? Like, it was supposed to be like an awesome thing that it figured out how to do. Yeah, people don't realize that.
Okay, you realize his character is a caricature of you, right? Of the type of fan that you are, LDG.
No, No, not
Yes,
even. No,
he
no,
absolutely
no,
is.
no. He is not. It's bullshit. Because
no, think about it. Think about it. He believes he knows so much about the Matrix and is able to change the Matrix to fit his whims that he knows what's best for everybody involved and can outthink everybody.
and that's not me.
That is,
Okay, so
that is
anyway,
exactly you.
that is not me. Anyway,
Didn't you
no,
also say I
no.
could write a better story than this?
What that doesn't mean that though. That doesn't mean what you're saying it means. It doesn't make me a bad person or any kind of psyche change
I
of
didn't
whatever
say
you
it makes you
think
a
of my
bad person.
personality traits are.
I'm saying
Whatever.
he is a
It doesn't make me a
caricature of
person.
the
You
type
can
of
be,
fan you are.
people are bad too. But what I'm coming down to is you're getting into the psyche. I'm just saying that as the plot goes, he slowed down time more than Neo, but people think that the first time you saw time being slowed down was with Neo, and that's incorrect. The freaking okay, whatever. Gap. The freaking machines, they were slowing. Remember when they were shooting at him in the beginning of the movie? They were slowing down time already. So they already had that ability, right? So like, how if the source couldn't figure out that it could slow down this slow down, it doesn't make sense. He's not. It's impossible that he's smarter than the source or came up with something. They were already slowing down time to begin with.
Hold on, LDG. We know that the Matrix by itself has a rule-based physics engine, correct?
Yes.
All right, so the agents in that film were able to bypass the physics engine to a limited extent because their programming was based on the rules, correct?
Yes. And then Neo broke those.
Now Neo, because of his because he's part of the unbalanced equation, the rules of the physics engine don't necessarily apply to him in full, correct?
It depends, man. It depends. I know where you're going down with this, but it depends.
It's established in Matrix 1 that he's only able to bend those rules or break those rules based on what his mind tells him is possible. So, when it comes to the analyst, he's able to bypass those rules by giving himself essentially super user status, so he can do certain things that other programs can't within the rules of the Matrix, including the physics engine. And because Neo thinks he can do that, that's why Neo can't break those rules. He doesn't have it in his mind yet that he's able to do so.
And he's not Neo then, because if I was Neo and the real Neo, when Neo like ascended, he became a super user. He should have all the same. He should have all the same abilities. Now, I would have said this. Now, if they would have done it where he went super fast at first and caught him off guard, and then Neo, like at the last minute, breaks it and figures out how to do it himself, then I'd have been okay with it. But the fact that he couldn't get around it, that's bullshit.
No, it's not, because remember, he's no longer Neo. I mean, he's Neo, but he's no longer the one.
No, he was always what he was before. It's just it's just whatever you're calling him.
But he
still became a super
user. He doesn't know that he's the one anymore.
But he's still the one. He's just a better one with his other
remember
one.
what Morpheus said. Your mind makes it real. He's only able to make the leap or do what he can because his mind tells him so. He's had his memory erased. He does not have that. He does not have those
Okay.
The ability to bypass anything anymore because he's limited by what his life and his experiences are up until that point. And when you have your memory erased, you're now set. He's set back to before he became the one.
Okay, I mean you're getting into like the whole time skipped and what actually happened, and you're getting into the movie as a whole, which we can sit here.
Of course.
The whole time skip was horrible. Like the time skip, I was done with the movie the second the time skip happened.
No, I think the time skip was necessary because they count Enter the Matrix and Path of the Matrix Online as canon.
There were so many. No, the Matrix Online was a dream. I'm not online. I'm the other one, the animation one. There were so many questions not answered from 1, 2, and 3, and they just skipped over it. They pulled a freaking Star Trek Discovery.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but what questions weren't answered for 1, 2, and 3?
Finding out the truth about the cookie, finding out the truth about Zion, finding out
why
the
was
truth
the
about the
cookie not
batteries.
important?
The cookie was very, very, very important.
No, it was not. It was never implied to be important.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was implied to be important.
No, it wasn't.
Remember the scene when what's his name came to take the Oracle?
You're talking about when Smith smashed the plate of cookies?
Yeah, and even mentioned them.
That was already answered by the Merovingian.
What are we talking about?
Causality.
No. It's not causality, bro.
Yes, it was.
That the Merovingian proved that you can manipulate food to alter a person's
based on the rules of the Matrix.
Yeah. Yes. So she gave him a cookie, was like a magical talisman. That is what the cookie is. What turned what's his name into?
I think you're reading way too much into it.
I know, because you have to. But all the clues are there. The only thing that was different, right? They said everything was different up until when he said he became a virus and started multiplying in Matrix 2. Right? What caused him to do that? What was the last thing that happened to him? Neo went in his stomach and blew him up from Matrix 1. Now that happened 6 times before, right? Because it always happens the same way up until the architect conversation when he goes left instead of right. So everything that happens is basically exactly the same. So what happened this particular time? The only thing that could be different is what character in the Matrix was outside of the loop. The only answer to that question is the Oracle. The Oracle gave him a cookie and said, "You'll feel right as rain." And that was the only event in Matrix 1 that was different that could have caused him to turn into a virus, which forced the law and them go back and forth and have peace and everything.
Sorry, Chris. I don't know how long you were waiting.
Just got back.
But
I hear LDG talking about the Matrix, but he forgets one thing.
I'm giving him 20 minutes to talk about it before we go into Stranger Things, because, again, it's one of the longest arguments that we've had, because I liked Matrix 4, especially the analyst, and he was like,
"Thank you."
And now, hold on, Chris. Do you agree with me? Because I said this earlier, that the analyst is literally a caricature of the type of Matrix fan that LDG is.
Yeah, to the extent that, I think the problem is, and I may be wrong, but I think the problem is fans who, again, I like the first one a ton. I like the second one, it's okay. And I like the third one the least. It's like, it's not like against my ability to watch it, but it's just, to me, it's the worst of the 3. And I remember being in the theater, and the halfway through the second one, I literally said out loud, too loud, because many people were like, "Shh." I said, "They're going to make him Jesus Christ." I said, "What the fuck? They're going to make him Jesus Christ." And to me,
the Jesus allegories were set up in the first film.
I know,
literally.
I know it was. But the thing is I was like, I was in the first film. I'm sitting there. Yes, I get that, but they left it open ended, and then they continued it. And as I went along, I'm like, they wrote themselves into a corner. Well, the genius of 4 is that they took what they did in the first 3, and they said, "Okay, we got to end this somehow." They ended it, and then basically corporate America said, "No, we need a 4th one." And the one Wachowski that was willing to do it said, "Okay, you're going to make me do this? Here we go." And literally said, "Everything I did before, nope, doesn't exist. Doesn't matter. It's totally wrong."
There was underlying story that people don't know. This is what I get about so-called Matrix fans, right? You have the 3 Matrixes, and you might say, "Oh yeah, well, this and that, and scheduling and blah, 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 bullshit, whatever." It always came down to the fact that they put everything in the movie. Now, I'm sorry if you got sidetracked by all that Jesus stuff because they compounded so many different things into that movie.
I understand that.
So they're just what do you call that? Red herrings or directions they want you to go down that don't go anywhere, right? So if you want to stay on that track, that's fine. But if you watch the first, second, and third movie, a lot of people say they love the first one, they like the second one, but it was a little off, and the third one was horrible, right? Those are all the people who didn't act. That they all fell off. That they're talking about Jesus, they're talking about the book, they're talking about the rabbits, they're talking about all they're going down all the directions that leads them to black holes, right? To dead ends. But if you actually understood that movie, all three movies are freaking badass and they make sense. And the fourth one should have brought you all to spec. That fourth one was supposed to answer and show you the path that you should have taken when watching the movies in the first place, because there's too many directions you can go in that trilogy.
I agree with you. The fourth one was not supposed to continue that story. It was
Zion is not the real world
of the fandom itself and the corporatization. That's what the fourth film was about.
She took it.
We were supposed to find out that no one has actually gotten out of the Matrix yet. Zion is actually just another side of the Matrix. Theory. No, it's a very good fan theory because it's correct.
No, it's not.
No. Yes. Again, you can't, LEG, we can't say and you can't say what the actual reason for it was. Here's all you can say. You're telling one of the creators, you're telling us one of the creators who created the fourth one is wrong. Because she trolled everybody.
Let me put this to rest once and for all, because you guys don't seem to understand, and my English isn't that great.
I understand what you're trying to say, but you don't know that for sure.
Let me say it to everybody else. Let me say it to everybody else. So when you watch that trilogy, right, there's many roads you can take from the beginning of that movie to the end, and usually what your mind likes to do is be on that same road when you get off the track. I am saying
LDG,
I can use.
There is one road in the Matrix.
No,
I'm saying when you're telling a story, like you create multiple roads, just like you were talking about CSI. You go down this direction, you go down this direction, you go down this direction.
Okay, but
literally
the fact that
agreeing with me.
No. One, you literally have a character called the Oracle who gives prophecies. That is a storytelling element that has existed for all time when it comes to our fiction.
Yes, and anything that goes into the Matrix takes the form of human history. That's why you had vampires and ghosts and shit and the Oracle. They all morphed into what we knew. That was part of the freaking illusion. Well, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. There was only ever one path for the one, and that was his understanding the choices he was going to make.
To reset the Matrix. That's the one was to reset the Matrix.
It was not.
Yes.
That was the whole point is he's not the same as the previous ones.
He's exactly the same. He just got
he's
something
not.
different.
Wait.
No. Remember when we were talking about your mic issues and I was talking about a recursive loop? Okay. The one is a recursive. Hold on, Chris. The one is a recursive loop within the Matrix, and each time it comes back around, the problem's getting worse.
Well,
to the point where it's breaking the system.
Yeah, it's basically. Wait, hold on. It's basically
where'd you get this
Windows. Wait, listen. It's Windows. It's Windows. Basically, Windows comes out with a new version X amount of years, and when it first comes out. It's done.
Did you guys even watch the movie?
Yes.
Did you guys even watch the architect literally said every single time the Matrix resets, it gets easier and easier.
No, he also says as soon as he goes back to save Trinity, he's like, that's different. He even says it. So what that is, then wait. Can I finish? Here's the thing. They do that. And then what happens is just like when Windows has crashes or doesn't work, then they decide, listen, this is what this guy has to do. We have to find a way to make him do it. And so they go through this, and so for instance, Neo does things that the other Neos have not done. One, he destroys an agent by going into that agent. He therefore creates a virus. He creates the very thing that causes the problem the Matrix needs to reset. And then he doesn't do what they think he's going to do or what he's supposed to do, because that's how he's designed, supposedly, or that's the purpose of him.
I can't follow
and
this.
Then and you're not listening.
You're jumping
whatever.
back and forth.
I got it. No, I'm not. I'm just stating things that happened before. He did stuff that caused a chain reaction of problems to happen. That chain reaction of problems then became an issue. That when he gets to the architect, the architect says you got to go through that door. You got to reset the matrix because this is the problems that are happening. You have to do it. We allow you to have this many people. You get to pick. He goes through his whole diatribe, and then fuck you. I'm going to go.
We lost you, Chris.
I think we lost them.
All right, I'm going to give you an example of back when I was alpha tester for Sony.
Oh,
LDG.
Just focus on one thing and don't jump around, because
I want to explain. I want to explain what I was trying to.
Outside of the virus.
Hold on. I want to explain something in a way that you'll understand by comparing it to my own life experiences. All right,
I'll try to do the same.
At one point in one of my games that I was testing, if my character did a certain motion in a certain area of the game, the camera would go wonky and become permanently in a wrong angle for the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I wrote up that bug, the programmers didn't fix that issue for the camera going wonky. What they did was they tried to prevent the action of the character to make that camera go wonky ever again. So the underlying bug was never fixed, but they did what they could to mitigate that error. That's the architect. The architect isn't fixing the bug regarding the unbalanced equation. He's trying to mitigate it by adding more layers to the system, but it's not fixing the underlying problem. So at one point in this final loop where Neo is the one, it creates a catastrophic error to the point that it can't be fixed by any programming, and that is Smith. He creates the error that can't be fixed by the without destroying the entirety of the matrix.
If there was only one matrix, I would get why you're saying this. But what makes this just a broken ice is the fact that this was the sixth time, whatever. Everything happened the same up until the conversation with the architect. They literally knew where he was, what he was doing at all times.
No. You're wrong. You're wrong, LDG. When it comes to being the fifth matrix, it's not the fifth matrix. It's only the third matrix.
Huh? No, they said they did like 5 or 6 other ones before this one. They did 5 loops of Matrix 3. Yes.
Or the third matrix. They didn't. They just. It's not like they had Windows 95, they had Windows 98, and they had Windows 2000. But for the next 3 loops, it was just new versions of the third, just Windows 2000 redone over and over again. They still didn't fix that error that existed in the first iteration of of Windows 2000.
I respect that you can quantify this using real world experience instead of what was actually said in the movie. Like the whole point of traveling down the road of a movie is using what's said on screen, shown on screen. The architect says
he's the remainder of that unbalanced equation. They never fixed the underlying bug.
You're not. The whole conversation was not what you were saying. That was a completely different conversation. He was talking about the challenges of somebody waking up from the system, not the matrix bugging out itself, not the building is off, or where's the exit. No, he's talking about people waking up.
He's talking about the one being the issue. The code itself has a problem that
'Cause
is
people wake up.
expressed by the one.
The problem is people wake up. They can't have people waking up. That's the
No, they
number
wanted
one
people to
thing
wake
that you
up.
need to understand, that no, they can't have anyone wake up. The whole point of the
No,
Matrix
but
was to put
they
us
could,
under
like,
because of the ghost
even
in
if
the
you look at
shell.
it that way, they couldn't mitigate that error. So
They
they
were
developed
mitigating the
another
error.
system of control on top of that one.
Yes, which was Zion.
Exactly.
Okay, so Zion is a matrix.
No, it's part of the control, but it's not a part
They
of the
need to
program.
keep people from waking up.
No.
And he said 99.99% of people stay asleep as long as they're given a choice, even at a subconscious level. The most important line of the entire movie, nobody seemed to understand. So everything that was a choice is still a form of control, a layer of control. So no one's actually, because what was the very first choice in the movie? A red pill or a blue pill? Like that's the whole freaking point of the Matrix. That's a choice, subconscious choice.
Agreed.
Slapping you in the face.
But you can't mitigate.
How could Neo see digits in the so-called real world at the third movie? How did he see code when he was so-called in the real world? Because it wasn't real. It was still in the Matrix.
But no,
I think that there might be some subjective things of that you can get from
answer that right now.
I will answer it for you because he didn't see the code.
We saw through his eyes. They literally did a scene of us seeing through his eyes, which he was blind at the time.
What did he actually see?
He saw something that you don't see in the real world.
He saw the movement of information through the pathways of this Machine City.
Or whatever you want to call it, Matrix code.
That's also after he had been.
But still, how did he see that? Like, how could he see that if he was in the real world?
Because he was the one. He's still connected to the code.
Why?
Here's the fact. Here's the fact, though. LEG and even Mike to an extent here, and this is what I tell everybody: you're having as the conversation they wanted people to have. It doesn't mean you're right, LEG. Doesn't mean you're right, Mike. It's just it's a conversation starter. It's there to you're going to get what you want from it. Every good movie allows you to pull from it your own story and your own archetypes. I mean, even Star Wars did that for people. You either gravitated to Luke Skywalker, or you gravitated to Darth Vader, or you gravitated to Boba Fett. You gravitated to characters, and that's what it's designed to do. It's designed to give you a way to gravitate towards what most speaks to you. And if it speaks to you, LDG, that even choice in and of itself is not a choice, it is a design control mechanism, then that's what it was meant to do for you. And that's the key of the movie. Is a good movie creates conversation and allows people to see what it wants. And a good director or a good story writer who directs or is a part of a movie will never tell you outright the answer. To this day, Quentin Tarantino has never told us what's in that briefcase in Pulp Fiction. Why? Because that's the idea. It is whatever the fuck you want to believe it is. It's drugs, it's money, it's whatever. It's different for every person. And that's a good movie maker. And that's why, I mean, like I said, I'm not a big fan of the third one.
It doesn't matter what it is.
I know a better movie maker.
Okay.
One that actually goes somewhere. You know, and a set of movies that takes you down a direction until you don't realize after watching 3 of them that you have to go back and rewatch now because the 4th one just blew your freaking mind instead of stuff like.
But you see, but you didn't like the conclusion of that. But to her,
the movie can be seen in different ways.
Sure can.
Than most other movies. A lot of movies don't have that ability. The Matrix has it. I did a long live stream, Mr. Londell. We did a watch party, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna commentate myself and take it down my road. And everybody was like, holy crap, okay.
Well, I get that. And you're not wrong. But you can't tell Mike he's wrong either, because that's what he sees in it. That's the impetus of a great movie.
I'm not saying anything.
I know you're not. I know.
I am just saying my thing, and you guys are ripping me a new asshole for it.
that
it's
the
all
most
good.
important scene of the original trilogy, because as far as I'm concerned, this is the most important scene, is the conversation between Neo and the architect.
Yes. Yeah, that was a very stimulating scene. I
Okay.
almost had an orgasm during that. Yeah,
That's
that
the
was a
most
great
important scene as far as I'm
conversation.
concerned when it comes to the first three movies and
Tells you
animation to a
everything.
limited extent.
It tells you a lot of everything, but then it still doesn't tell you everything. It
No.
just reveals the original everything, like the whole left and right thing. But
now,
they're still lying to us.
Matrix
Battery
4
thing was still a lie.
Matrix 4, the most important scene for Matrix 4 is when Trinity catches Neo.
Oh, nah. The best part of Matrix 4 was the credits.
No.
Oh.
Because the reason that scene is so important is because it shows that the unbalanced equation that the architect talks about is not just one person. It's
The reason why it was unbalanced.
I can see that you can go for, well. We knew that already technically because it was her that was the spark that changed things. When that was already established in the previous Matrixes, that them two are the crux point. It wasn't him by himself. It wasn't her by herself. But they just added a new level to it, and that's fine. But
no,
I mean,
because remember what you were saying about how everyone, the whole 99.9, so it's everyone who wakes up is part of the problem. That's it. That's the one might have certain abilities that the other ones don't, but they are all part of that systemic anomaly, that unbalanced equation.
Excuse me. And I'm
because
sure you
the
could take it
machines
even
can't
farther
necessarily
too.
control what happens in the real world is why it gets to expand.
You could take it farther too. I bet you once they have a child or something, then it'll be a trilogy. And I mean, like I said, it doesn't matter what they did in 4 because 4 was a tangent. Even freaking the creator talked shit about it. I mean, it was completely off balance. They didn't go in the direction where they were supposed to go. They went into this weird fucked up shit.
There you are again. You say the direction they were supposed to go. It's the direction you wanted them to go, not supposed to go. You don't get to control what direction a movie maker takes.
Well, yeah, but she said herself that she has doing this against her will.
Yeah,
yes, that's the whole point of the movie.
She included all the meta.
She trolled everything in it because she didn't want to do it. She wanted it to be right where you say it should be. 3.
So then why are you? So why are exactly? So no, she was. Yeah,
but you're saying it's wrong. You're saying it's wrong the way she did it, but it's not. She was told to do it, or they do it without her. She said, or they were both told that we'll do it without you. And one of them decided, I'm going to go and at least, you know what? If they're going to pay me to do it, I'm going to go and I'm going to totally troll them on everything possible. I'm going to totally disrupt the narrative that the original one had or anything that people thought it had. And I'm going to do that because then it'll take. And I will get, okay, fine. But you just said it's not what it should be. They didn't take it in the direction they should go.
Yes.
No. They did. They did exactly what she wanted to do.
Under duress. She did that. She blew her own baby. And we don't have to call that. Like,
but that's what it was. But that's what it was. That's what she wanted to do.
Known that Matrix 4 should be known as an absolute pile of garbage. As far as any kind of discussion.
I think it's brilliant because of that.
It's a parody. It's a freaking parody. It's a
it's not brilliant. It's a meta commentary.
It goes against everything in the first 3 movies.
But that's the point. That was the point, and that was designed that way. And that means that therefore it wasn't done wrong. It was not meant to be anything other than that because it was never meant to be.
All right. Whatever you say there, boss.
Well, nobody asked for a 4th one.
I did.
Nobody.
Yeah. All the fans. Because technically the 4th one was supposed to be the problem. The only thing what really killed the Matrix was that 2 and 3 was supposed to be 2. And then 4 was supposed to be 3. So it was supposed to be over in 3 movies. But 2 and 3 should have been, they literally filmed it back to back.
No. LDG, you wanted there to be more to the story, but they were done. The Matrix trilogy
Don't
is a
tell me what
trilogy
I
in and of
want,
itself.
dude. It's on paper, bro. Okay, I can back it
No,
up.
it's
We can do a
not.
watch party, and you can't have a freaking glass of water to hold up against it. I'll
They
sit here
had.
and I'll
They
explain
knew.
it during a
They
watch
knew
party.
from
We
the
can
first
literally
movie,
talk
like
while
Chris
we're
pointed out,
watching it.
that Neo was supposed to be a Jesus allegory.
No, that was a fault. That was a false Fleming.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Bring up
literally
right
it
now.
wasn't.
Bring up right now. The Wachowskis quoted it as that was not the intent of it.
Tell me, give me something where it said was.
Okay,
That's the point. That's the point, LDG. They don't tell you. They don't tell you. Therefore, there is no right answer.
Oh, I know that.
He follows the Messiah trope to a T in that first film.
That's your perception.
Okay. But that's fine. But that doesn't make it wrong.
Hold on. Let me look up the Messiah trope real quick, and we'll see everything that does not fit with Neo. Hold on.
I just think that sitting there, it wrapped up the story, and whether or not the story is a Jesus allegory or not, whether or not that was their intent, or they wanted to do something different and then hide it in a Jesus allegory, it doesn't matter. The point is they wrapped their story up. There was never meant to be that fourth one at all. They wrapped it up in the three they did, and they left.
They didn't wrap it up.
All right, hold on.
Yes, they did.
Hold on.
Then find me something where they tell you that the third one was not meant to be the end of it.
Okay.
It's in the movie.
I'm going to read. This is directly from TV tropes. In media, the messianic archetype is a character whose role in the story, but not necessarily in personality, echoes that of Christ. They are portrayed as a savior, whether the thing they are saving is a person, a lot of people, or the whole of humanity. They endure a sizable sacrifice as the meaning of bringing salvation about for others. The fate they do not deserve up to that may include death or a fate worse than death. Other elements are mixed and matched as required, but the messianic archetype will include one or more of the following. And tell me, which of these does not fit Neo in that first movie? The Chosen One. They have true companions who follow him. Betrayal by one of those followers. Persecution by non-believers. Crucified hero shot or other parallels to the Passion Play. Figurative or literal resurrection. A literal second coming. Having the initials JC. Is the Redeemer. Dresses like Jesus. Or being a friend to all children. Now, how many of those don't fit Neo?
Wait. Are you telling me right now? Are you telling me right now that Michael Jackson was a Jesus allegory? Sorry, I couldn't stop myself.
Now, being a friend to all children does not fit Neo, but not every one of these has to work. I'm just saying a majority of them should work. The Chosen One, my God, how many times in the first movie do they call him the Chosen One? He is literally the one they're looking for. True companions that follow him. The crew of the Nebuchadnezzar. Betrayal of one of those followers.
Everything. I already made the connections.
Hold on. Persecution by non-believers.
Let me say this.
Persecution by non-believers. Agent Smith and his fellow agents.
No. Wait. Time out.
That's wrong.
They're not non-believers.
In the Matrix.
Exactly.
The agents don't believe. They make it clear that the agents don't necessarily believe in the one.
No, they know. They know he is.
Oh,
They know he is because they even say it at the beginning of the movie. They're like, we know their next target. It's Neo.
Are the Matrix people.
It's not just the people in the Matrix. It's people like Niobe and other people within his own group of people who have been saved. But not everybody believes he's the one.
Chris, in my example, I'm only applying this to the first movie. So Niobe doesn't show up until the sequel. So we're not going to go into that.
But but even within the group, it is known that people
It
out
doesn't
who
give
have been
sacrifice in the
saved,
first.
that the people that have been saved in the first movie that you don't see. It is even said that not everybody believes that Morpheus has found one, or that he's going to find one. So therefore, we already have an established belief that the people who have been saved are also possible non-believers, because not everybody believes he does that there is a one. So it is several people, but it's definitely not the people within the system that know very well, because they are designed by the architect or by the very system. They know he is. They're trying to get to him and kill him and get rid of him before he becomes it, because he doesn't believe it himself. That's part of the story too. Is the journey for him to believe.
All right, so we'll say that persecution by non-believers part is not necessarily accurate.
It's there. It's just not. Well, yeah, that's there.
Now, first movie, when he gets shot, what does he do? Arms wide. Slow-mo scene.
Yeah, kind of.
There's his crucified hero shots. First movie. Figurative or literal resurrection. After being shot multiple times, he literally comes back to life. Second coming. Same thing.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not. No, he doesn't have.
No second coming. There was no second coming in the first movie. There was no sacrifice in the first movie.
When he dies, he comes back. It's the second coming.
Okay,
he didn't die.
Yes, he did. He showed his heart stop, and then he comes back. In the clinical sense, he died.
He wasn't dead. He was still savable. His brain wasn't. Come on now.
That doesn't matter.
Okay, listen.
No. They call you dead when your heart stops.
LDG. Listen to the trope: figurative or literal resurrection. It was a figurative resurrection, no matter how you look at it, whether he literally died or not.
Didn't die
again.
Sorry. Yeah, whatever.
Again, it's all subjective.
I'll make this real simple.
You're both right.
Do you know how a tomato is like a fruit and a vegetable? And there's a whole bunch of them out there.
It's not a vegetable.
Just because it flops like a fish and smells like a fish and tastes like a fish and looks like a fish and feels all like a fish, doesn't mean it's a fish. Okay? So I'll give you that yeah, maybe he crosses some check marks as far as your Jesus comparison, but just because it doesn't make it that.
No, he is a almost paint by numbers messianic archetype.
And that's fine. And I don't see an issue with the relationships being similar. But that's not the end all say all of the movie.
But that's the thing. Again, you guys are both right. It can be whatever the fuck you think it is.
That's just a carrot. Like that's just like a random carrot.
It's my Coke can theory. I can put a Coke can on a table and tell you it's my God. It doesn't mean it's God. It just means that's my God.
The problem, to understand the first three Matrix movies, understanding is the stick, not the carrot. Everybody's looking at the carrot and saying, "Oh, I know this movie and it's okay." Blah blah. No bullshit. No, the truth is behind the stick. Once you find that, then the whole trilogy is a completely different movie.
See, and that's the thing,
guys. Really quick, I gotta go. You guys will probably be off by the time I get done with what I'm doing, but I will let you know. I'll try to check in and see. All right, guys.
I'll see you tonight. Hey, I'm gonna try to invite Katty tonight.
Why did they have to put a tracker in his stomach when he's in the Matrix? What was the point of the tracker? They already tracked him. They already showed him in like his entire life. Like they've recorded him since day one. Why do they need to put a tracker?
Okay. Everybody has a cell phone, right?
Yes.
So everyone can be tracked who has a cell phone.
You're talking to the Matrix.
I know.
You're in the cell phone. Like you're
now,
you are a cell phone. Like
hold on. No.
A walking cell phone.
Okay.
How do you think they blip into people?
How do you
think they blip into people?
I'm trying to explain it to you.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, remember, the Matrix is based on rules.
But that's just the physics of the environment, dude.
They can only track so much per person. They can't create special rules for somebody. So they had to do an extra step based on their rules in order to track everything he was doing, which is why they had to put it in a tracker.
Dude, bro,
it's like
they were monitoring him.
It's like not just tracking someone's cell phone. It's putting a tracker on the person.
Bro, I'm telling you, they knew where he was the entire time.
It doesn't matter. There was always things based on the rules of the Matrix that could be bypassed in what areas they couldn't track him in.
Which the source is a super user. I mean, dude, how do you think they blip into people? Not everybody has a tracker in them. How do you think agents become people out of nowhere?
And
because everyone's already being tracked.
What are the ones that the agents can't blip into?
What does that have to do with anything?
Who are the ones? Because you just asked, they can blip into anyone. Who are the ones they can't blip into?
Oh, they can only, they can't blip into anybody who's hacking the Matrix. Only people who are sitting down, which in the movie he wasn't freed yet.
But they couldn't blip into him without alerting those people. And remember, they weren't going after Neo. They were going after Morpheus.
No, the whole point was they couldn't, the architect told you that we couldn't kill you right away. You had to have been allowed to go. He was special. Everything was a show. They could have killed him right off the bat. Hell, I mean, why do you think when he first came out and took the pill and when he was in the so-called real world, and the very first thing that happens is when he gets out of the bubble is a freaking robot analyzes him right then and there, you know what happened. Squeeze, break his neck, have a nice day. Why didn't they kill him? The whole point was they couldn't kill him.
Because that robot was just performing its actions, its pre-programmed actions.
Yeah, and a human just got out of a bubble. Do you think their programming says let them free?
They followed their protocol. Flush it from the system.
Their protocol should be kill the human because they know about Zion.
Maybe they don't care that they haven't implemented something to actually stop that.
Maybe that, and the other. I mean, see, this is what I'm talking about.
They're just following protocol. Flush that thing from the system. It gets thrown in that little pool thing where it gets reabsorbed into the nutrient stream, and they're just recycling it. They don't care about killing it. What's the point? It's a defect. It's a bad chip that needs to be recycled.
Yeah, sure. So you build a $50 billion, whatever, this huge high-tech hybrid for humans, and you just flush them down the toilet. I mean, dude, they literally, they were feeding people, if anything, that was stupid, because they were feeding people from the dead of others.
You have a bad chip in your computer. Hold on, LDG, you have a bad chip in your computer. You pull the chip out. Do you then smash the chip with a hammer to make sure that it never freaks out ever again, or do you just throw it away?
No, you melt it down and create a new chip. It becomes
that's what they were doing. They were melting it down.
No, they weren't. They just shoved him to the ocean.
No,
he should have been liquefied. He should have been liquefied and fed to everybody else because that's what they were doing. No, they weren't. He flushed them.
Yes,
he flushed them into the ocean, dude. What are you talking about? No, he didn't.
They flushed him into a pool. That's all you know. It wasn't the ocean.
And a helicopter came and got him.
No,
or whatever.
Hovercraft,
whatever.
All right. But I'm giving you extra 20. Hold on. I gave you an extra 20 minutes. Hold on. I gave you an extra 20 minutes. We're going to switch gears entirely because I want to talk about Stranger Things season 1 real quick because I'm doing a rewatch of that as well. All right. After I've seen up to season 4, I have not seen season 5. So anyone says anything about season 5, screw you. I don't need any spoilers. And that's already pissed off my daughter because she so wanted to give me spoilers for season 4 or season 5. Because she's already watched the whole thing. All right. So season 1, I'm having issues on the rewatch because of how the Demogorgon keeps popping up everywhere. It doesn't seem to make any sense as of right now, based on seasons 2 through 4, how the Demogorgon is able to travel between the Upside Down and the real world through the gates. because it keeps abducting people or killing people, and it acts animalistic, but several times it just pops through a wall. Like it's able to create gates on its own. And as of, the only gate that's man-made, as far as we could tell, is the one created, at least as of season 1, was the one created by 11. So I'm just confused as to how it's able to pop in and out at this point. Like, how did the gate in the tree get made?
Yes, I wish I watched any of this, but I don't watch any of this.
You haven't watched Stranger Things at all?
No.
I think you should watch it.
I think it's originally it looked like an attempt of some type of, I don't want to say Goosebumps, but like just a kid's show.
No,
but anyway, all right.
Okay, hold on. Are you a Stephen King fan at all?
Somewhat. Some of his work, yeah.
Okay, have you ever seen the movie? Because I never read this his short story about it, but have you ever seen the movie Firestarter with Drew Barrymore?
Nah, no, I haven't.
Okay, basically, Stranger Things season 1 is that book, just instead of with the ability to start fires and being loved by her parents, the psychic kid is telekinetic, has a connection with another dimension. Shut up, Mr. Crow. Here. Eat that. Shut up. And of course, she ends up having friends as well, which is another slightly different, but it's basically the same story. You got government kid tested by MK Ultra. I mean, they literally use the same CIA program. Parents fed drugs until they got psychic powers. She inherits those powers from her parent, and her version is more unstable and more powerful. I mean, it's basically the same story.
Okay.
Now, the differences would be there's a monster from the other side that's also terrorizing people. And that's about it. I don't understand in the context of the show yet, because I'm going to rewatch season 2 for next week. Why the Will Byers character is abducted and not killed. That still doesn't seem to make any sense per se. I know they tie it into the Mind Flayer in the later seasons, but I'm going to rewatch it just to make sure. But there's still no reason, like the Demogorgon, they show that it's attracted to blood like a shark. That's why it kills a deer. It's why it kills Barb, the Nancy character's friend. Sorry if I'm giving you too many spoilers. But it shows that everyone else it comes in contact with, it kills. Why did it abduct this one person? And my theory for season 5 might be that he actually possesses similar powers to 11, but on a lesser scale because, his parents weren't given drugs. That's my theory. I could be entirely wrong. I don't care. I'll be looking forward to being proven wrong. But one of the things I really do like about the way they did the writing for this show, in season 1 is a good example. There's 3 storylines that are basically going on that join up at the end, and I like that aspect of it. Each group is investigating on their own, and it's only at the end where they're able to combine their information to come up with a plan. You got the 4 kids, essentially. You have the sheriff and All right. See you later, Gap.
Later, Gap. They
And so you got the four kids. You have their storyline. You have the mother and the sheriff storyline, and then you have the sister and the brothers storyline. And hold on one second. I gotta take a drink of something. Yep, I'm eating leftover chicken, and that piece was really freaking dry. Yeah, cold chicken for breakfast. Breakfast of champions for me.
That.
So the way they write it and how everything merges at the end, really well done. I like that aspect of it. It gives everybody agency and impact on the storyline. I'm going to compare it to the later seasons as I do the rewatches. But yeah, definitely a good scenario there. I still don't. The way the Demogorgon moves still bugs me though. So I mean, yeah, the visuals were nice, but it just does not seem to make sense if the Demogorgon has that ability. And I know they tried to have the analogs between the Demogorgon and Eleven's character having similar aspects. Like the Demogorgon is the only thing that can actually detect her when she's astral projecting herself, at least in season 1. But if they have that ability to break through, why don't they do it more often? I guess. I don't know. Maybe someone else can explain it to me who's watched this show. Maybe I'll record a little bit of conversation with Vile Style because, as I said, she's a huge Stranger Things fan. So, yeah, that was the two shows I watched this week: NCIS and Stranger Things. But now I might have to go rewatch the Matrix quadrilogy just to piss off LDG. Because I'm pretty sure I have the first Matrix on my computer right now. But I think it's the only one I have.
Yeah, I'd love to watch that movie, man. But I'm telling you, this is a whole different story to be told.
You know what's interesting is Animatrix seems to be the hardest one to find a digital copy of.
Animatrix? Yeah, that one was interesting. Didn't actually happen, but yeah.
What do you mean it didn't actually happen?
It's animated.
So it's still canon.
But we don't, even if it is canon, we don't know if it's the truth. Like I said, the whole battery thing was one of the things that we were supposed to find out in Matrix 4, that was a lie. They were lying even after the whole piece and everything. Remember the end of 3 when the Oracle and the architect were talking when they were resetting and putting everything back to normal and the sunrise and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "You know what you unleashed right now? You've crossed the line, right?" He was having that whole cross the line thing, and she was like, "Were you going to keep your word?" And he's like, "Yeah, we'll try. We'll see what we're going to do about this." And that was the fact that they got to realize they got to tell the humans that Zion is actually the Matrix. You guys are all in the Matrix, and we can't really disconnect you because that thing about the battery.
Theory, but I don't.
But no, this is backed up by Lana. Okay, they literally said the original idea, which they were going to come back to after, but they added this layer of lie only to get the first movie out. That the battery was bullshit, and the original idea is the Ghost in the Shell. They need people. That's how they get sentience. The people in the machine.
Oh, I agree. That was what they should have done. Dumbing it down for the average person to change it into a battery.
They just dumbed it down and hid it behind the plot as a lie. It's a lie. They can easily say that's a lie. If Zion is the Matrix.
Hold on. Let me say what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Now we're going back to the Matrix for a few minutes. Sorry, guys.
That made a good point.
Okay. The battery thing was dumb. I agree on that aspect. But as of right now, it's never been disproved as not canon. And that is the primary motivation of the machines. Would it have been better for people like you and me if it was about processing power? Yes.
They gave hints all the way through.
Yeah, but ultimately, as far as the Matrix is concerned, humanity is just energy production.
As far as the humans are concerned, not
No,
the
as far as the machines
we
are
don't
concerned.
know that. We don't know that yet. That's the humans' point of perspective. Like, we haven't seen the perspective of.
But that's what's canon to the films. Period.
Yes, only to the humans.
No, to everybody, to the films themselves.
If yes, a movie that's called The Matrix is talking about the point of view of the humans in the Matrix.
Except for all intents and purposes, on every conversation a machine has ever had on the subject, it's true for the machines as well.
Yes, which they gave another clue when Neo went between worlds. How do you think they got there? Through a train station in the Matrix.
The train station.
It was a huge hint. Everybody missed
it.
The
train station is basically a bridge between the machine's source code and the Matrix. That's it.
No, it's between the real world and the Matrix.
No, it's between the machine source code and the Matrix.
How do you think? How did he get? How did he?
And not only that, it's an illegal. It's kind of like an illegal one. It's a hacked link between the source code and the Matrix,
which shows you that Zion is a Matrix.
No, it doesn't.
I'm sorry, dude. I wish you were a programmer, because if you
I am a programmer.
Okay, so then you should be able
Granted,
to.
I only learned C, or C in binary, but still.
Your brain should be able to wrap the difference between digital and real world. Don't have a bridge between them.
It's not a digital and real world. It's a bridge between two digital entities.
He was coming back physically.
No, he wasn't.
I mean, well, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. He was his conscious self was coming back to his real body, but they can already do that with jacking. Like jack in, jack out. They're in and out all the time. They don't need the special. What was this? Something else is there that people are not seeing. They didn't need limbo. Limbo had no purpose. Well, it did have a purpose, but not the one people think of.
Okay. Well, okay. Who is using the train station in the film?
The train station guy. The guy who created it, the rogue program.
Okay.
The smuggler.
What is he using it for?
Smuggling people. He was smuggling people from the source to the Matrix.
He was smuggling programs from the source to the Matrix.
The real world.
A digital realm and a digital realm.
No. Yes.
How are you getting the real world? How are you getting those? Confusing one of those for the real world?
No. You're misunderstanding. When you're in the other so-called real world, the machines are machines, and when they get obsolete, they get destroyed. So instead of being destroyed, they upload to the Matrix.
No,
they're not just digital cloth. They're not just. They could be digital programs, but all these. The whole point of Matrix 3, when they were talking about the rogue programs, that's what she was telling him. Are you going to honor your word and let the other people go free? Which means let them come back to the machine world. That was literally what that conversation was about.
You're reading way too much into that.
No. They said it.
She's literally talking about the humans who want to be free from the Matrix. Others. And by extension, programs that want to go from the source to the Matrix.
She was talking about the programs that there was another conversation about the programs that hide in the Matrix.
Yes.
She's talking about them, the rogue ones that don't deserve to die. The whole point of the daughter that they had to give, they transferred the daughter of the one program. That was that whole point. She was with that daughter. She was talking about rogue programs, not the people. Of course, the people are going to be fine.
She was talking about
that already. No, she was talking about specifically in that statement. She was talking about rogue programs.
She was talking about both. I think you're reading too much into it.
no, because they already had the conversation about the humans. That was the first part of the conversation. The second part was the keeping his word with the rogue programs. It's you have to rewatch it, man. I'm telling you, I am.
I'll rewatch it, but I
sure.
still think you're wrong.
But pay
And I
attention
still
this
don't.
time. Like really pay attention.
And,
Like
and
take
I
all that
think,
Jesus stuff
okay,
and
no.
just put it
Rewatch.
aside.
You really need to rewatch the films and understand that Zion and the real world in the Matrix, or at least the Matrix film, is the real world. I know you want to portray the whole thing as Zion in the real world shown in the movies is part of the Matrix itself. It's not. And I know you want to have that extra layer on there, but no.
Neither of us can say it because they didn't actually do it. So, and Matrix 4 doesn't count because she null and voided it.
No, she didn't.
Yeah, she said it.
No, she didn't.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. You can think that. You can believe that.
Because I don't care what the creator may or may not have said. I'm going by what's in the films themselves. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
And remember, as one of the guiding rules that I have is if the IP holder says it's canon, it's canon.
Well, I don't think she said it was canon.
It doesn't matter. She's not the IP holder.
If she says it's canon. Oh, the IP holder. Okay.
There was an interview. This will be the last thing I talk about. There was an interview that Tim Kaine gave recently. I can't remember who he gave it to, but I was reading excerpts from it. And they were trying to get his Tim Kaine, if you know who he is. He was one of the guys that created Fallout. He's the one who created the Fallout Bible for Fallout 1 and 2. And he worked on the first 2 games. I think he also worked on Tactics. But he had a set idea of how he wanted the franchise to go in. But Black Isle sold the franchise to Bethesda. Now, Bethesda gets to say what is and isn't canon now. Not Tim Kaine. Not Black Isle. So, by not Black Isle...
the people do.
No, it's the IP holder that gets to say what is and isn't canon.
Yes, and the people can change what the IP holder wants to do. That's the whole. That's what happened with. That happened many times recently. Like what happened with Sonic the Hedgehog.
What do you mean with what happened to Sonic the Hedgehog?
Originally, canon was that ugly piece of garbage they tried to sell off, and then the people forced them to change their IP.
Yeah. Okay. That's.
Well, I'm sorry. That's what.
Hold on.
What's the next words out of your mouth?
That's not. That's an aesthetic. Correct. No, that's an aesthetic.
It's still canon, though. Whether I'm pink or purple or got this or that or look like this or that, that's.
But hold on.
It's canon.
Hold on. Is Sonic the Hedgehog, the film series, canon to the games?
I have no clue. I was just talking about that.
It's not.
If someone's got to own it, someone has to have.
No, according to the IP holders, the movies are separate universe from the games, period.
Then why'd they change it?
Because the storyline from the games doesn't make sense for a cinematic movie.
Because they want the people who don't care about what they say is canon to think it's canon in their head.
No,
they changed the movie because they want the people to think it's part of it. Now you got 2 canons
featuring the same or a similar character. In this case, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, for you. But for everybody else, now they get to enjoy it as canon.
But it's not canon to the rest of the games.
But it's canon.
Some of the games aren't canon to the rest of the games.
It's
and they made that clear.
For itself. If they make a sequel of the movie, they got to keep the same look now.
And now when it comes to like The Matrix,
which didn't they make a sequel?
The trilogy is canon. Animatrix is canon. Matrix 4 is canon. Path of Neo is canon up to the final battle because they made that clear that the final battle is not canon. And the Matrix Online, all those are canon to the same universe.
Yes, which is still behind a level of deception. All
You
those
say that,
universes, everything you
but
mentioned could still
you
be.
have no real evidence towards it. You have theories, but you have no
The
real
entire
evidence.
movie is the evidence, dude. The movie
You can't.
itself is the
No, it's
evidence.
not.
Nothing is make believe. Like, I'm just not saying it's one way. I'm saying it's one way
Okay.
because of A, B, C, dominoes, 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 dominoes. I'm not just magically saying, oh, the Matrix is just, Zion is the Matrix, just out of nowhere. I got evidence in the movie all the way through.
What is the piece of evidence from the movie that shows that there's a higher level?
Well, the train station for one.
Again, train station I already showed you is a digital link to a digital link. There is no real world
you gave me your perception, but it wasn't on screen. Whatever, you have to give me evidence that happened in the movie. And in the movie, it is denoted as there is another place to go to.
It's just a bridge between two digital entities.
Between what exactly, though? That didn't define what the other side was.
It's a digital link between the source, which is a digital entity, and the Matrix, which is a digital entity.
It's not the source. The source is one thing, where all programs came from is the source, and then you have the machine world, where all the freaking programs are, and they live in a different world. And this connected that to this.
But it's still a digital link to a digital link. I don't see how you're getting the real world mixed in there.
Then how did that allow him to get back to his body?
It didn't.
Because his body was in a digital world.
His body is not in a digital world. His mind is in a digital world.
His body was in Zion. His mind was in the Matrix. He took the freaking whatchamacallit. I'm sorry. Yeah, he took the train so he can jack back into himself.
Yes, because of whatever happened between him and Smith in the second movie, essentially made his mind wirelessly link back to the machine world and the Matrix. And because of whatever default error was going on, he ended up in that bridge instead of going to either one of those worlds, which means his mind was transported digitally to one of those worlds. But the default had to be somewhere where he couldn't go anywhere else, and that was a bridge.
Excuse me.
Think of it this way. When they're sticking the spike into your head, whether you're in the Matrix or you're in Zion going that way, that's a hardline connection, right? That's your Cat 5. That's your fiber optic.
Yeah. Yeah.
When he goes into the Matrix after his little confrontation with Smith in the second movie, that's Bluetooth.
Yeah, but you can't Bluetooth in your mind.
Why not?
Because it's not established.
It's established that he doesn't abide by the normal rules.
That's just a catch-all.
It doesn't matter. It fits better than saying there's an extra
layer. It doesn't. It's a catch-all that makes you go down a different path. You need something more, a little bit more.
It's a simpler explanation. Why do you have to go to this? Why have to go to this massive extra layer of the Matrix in order to explain everything? Versus,
why don't we do a watch party? Come to the underground. We'll watch the trilogy. I'm serious. Get some popcorn. We'll watch it. You want to live stream it? That's fine with me. We can do a Cosme or something. And we can sit here and do a freaking commentary, and we can go down, pause it when we need to freaking explain something, and go down, because I can go from 0 to N, no problem. Like, I can commentate the entire way through, no problem.
Hold on, LDG, I will agree to this, but we'll do it next year.
Okay, sure. I'll see you in 30 days. No problem.
Yeah, but I want to finish the NCIS rewatch and the Stranger Things rewatch before we go into this.
I'm totally down.
All right.
Totally down for that.
All right. Now, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream because I have to Jaloja again, and the crows will not shut up today. So I will see you guys later. If you can catch us on LG, are you going to be on Chris's stream tonight?
No, I'll be in the chat, though. I got to focus.
All right. So, yeah, I'll be on Chris's stream later on tonight for the wrap-up. Hopefully I'll see you guys there, and hopefully I can convince my damn kids to help me out and finish that the next Star Trek review, because it's just trying to get the two, because it's the two Vile kids together and trying to get them together when they got, different moms at the same time has been like herding cats. You like that joke, Mr. Crow? The herding cats joke? Here. Have another piece of cold chicken. Shut up. All right. Later, folkses.
Later.